Quite often people ask me about rifles made in England by the best gun makers, and I've owned a few. They're not that hard to find, but I thought I'll take out the Westley Richards that I have around here. And this particular rifle was made in 1938. I sent away to Westley Richards, asked them to check their ledgers. Some of the gun makers in the UK were bombed out and their records were destroyed, but others were not. So I guess I was fortunate because Westley Richards even sent me the ledger, which for some reason I couldn't find for filming. Anyway, so people ask, why are these rifles changing hands for $10,000 and $20,000 and those big numbers? And some of the Hollands are up there, staggering values. Anyhow, so we can look quickly at the Westley Richards African Express rifle, caliber 318. I have the ammo around. This is not 318. This is a different caliber for my Starling problem. Anyhow, so here we go. What makes this rifle worth so much? Well, the whole thing is handmade. It uses a Mauser action, which we all know, and then I guess the Earl wanted the rifle to be more portable, and so it's a takedown. I'll show you how that works. It has many little features, and I suppose it's the same in all things, from fancy cars to wine. If you look at it just quickly, it kind of looks like this Winchester Model 70. It has a wood stock, it has a bolt, and so forth. But the details and the amount of work that went into this rifle, it would take countless hours. We've got an express rear sight that is calibrated out to 500 yards, something like that, and that would probably be sighted in for the customer, for the Earl. We've got stippling on the rear receiver bridge, which prevents glare, for an African rifle. We were looking at the front sight a moment ago. This is a Caterpillar front sight with a folding hood. You'll notice there's quite a large white dot. That's the night sight. And there are more sight blades, and it's quite a coarse sight, you can imagine. It's got some kind of a coating, maybe phosphorus, so it picks up moonlight really well. And the Caterpillar sight hood flips over just like that, and then the sling swivels are soldered onto the barrel, silver soldered. The rear sight island is attached to the barrel. This is made out of buffalo horn, so is this, and then we've got these features. This screw just comes off. Of course, it has to be threaded through the horn cap into the wood, so that's quite a bit of work. And then you tip it, and out falls a little cylinder, and in there are sight blades. This is an extra container that he must have ordered with still more sight blades, and they make quite a difference. Actually, I've tried them all. Some are very fine, some are coarser, some work better for running shots, some work better for still shots, and so on, you can imagine. And then of course the neatest thing is the takedown feature. So all it takes is loosening this captive screw, and then this lever pivots just like that, and instead of the barrel coming off, the whole action comes out of the stock. Now you don't end up, this is not a Blaser R8 level of convenience, but on the other hand, the barrel is part of the action, so the accuracy of the firearm will be determined by the fitting, which is all done by hand. And when you replace the action, you can see that at the back of the stock is a steel fitting. So the back of the Mauser action has been machined so that lip engages the steel fitting in the back of the stock. Now it's not all smooth, like I said. This is not a Blaser. It's not made by machines, but it's all properly hand fitted. Amazing rifle. I think there's some kind of special recoil lug. And I should show you that the floor plate has been worked on as well. So this lever comes out, and I mean, again, we're familiar with the military floor plates and how they work, but somebody went to the trouble of fitting a lever, and I mean, it is easier, and when this is locked, it's not going to open in the field very easily. And then reassembly, I had to actually practice this a few times. It's not that bad, but I notice you have to put the action in and then push the trigger forward and push down. And that's that. And then flip this lever and then tighten this screw, which it's not a big deal. Actually, to me, I don't even know whether this screw does that much. I think it's this lever that mainly locks it in place, and you can see it's a hairline fitting back here. So those are the technical things, and just to review them, then we've got the grip cap, we've got the sight blades, the metal has all been contoured, the action has been tuned and smoothed. You can't feel that by watching, but it's not the way it was when it was a military gun. This has been stippled. This has a similar non-slip treatment for sweaty hands. This has been stippled for glare. Rear sight island regulated. So the customer just buys the rifle, and it's delivered to wherever, Africa, India, or what have you. I'm going to flip it around. You can see the engraving. And I think the concept was and is that you pick a caliber and maybe buy 2 or 3 rifles, and you have something of lasting value, as opposed to having a closet full of guns like some people. Fantastic investments, actually. I've always enjoyed looking at them. They're all a little bit different, how they're assembled and how they're some of them are beautifully engraved. I don't think this one has any engraving, and you can tell by the wear on the floor plate, you know, the cost of sweat in the field. It's a working rifle. The Earl used it, and I think used it a lot. Bore is excellent, and the rifle is still fine. So are these worthwhile? I would say absolutely, as worthwhile as any other high-end product. I just enjoy shooting them. A couple of things I'll mention about the stock. Like at first glance, you think they're the same, but there's, you know, any factory rifle has an excess of wood, and we've got a Monte Carlo on this one, which is suitable for scope use, so that's practical. That makes sense. The action again is made not totally by machines in this particular case, but you get the point. And the British rifle, every single piece, somebody's gone over. The trigger is as good as a trigger can be on a Mauser, and it's a field trigger. It's not a target trigger. And I'll just flip it around. The quality of the wood is good, but they didn't go overboard. You know, I think it's safe to say that British culture is understated, and they don't have, like burl walnut, the grain is running the right way through the grip, so there's no fracturing happening. Everything's fitted, and it's kind of perfect. Like, it's a connoisseur's rifle. The butt plate is steel, may not be the most comfortable. It flips open, and there's a cleaning rod in there. So if you're in the field with this African Express rifle, you have everything you need. You can even accomplish some nighttime shooting with this cool phosphorus sight, and no provision for scope mounting whatsoever on this particular rifle. But those were different times. You know, game was maybe more plentiful, probably, and accessible in a different way. Now we're more restricted, and so people are out in those you know, twilight times and early in the morning when there isn't much light, so scope is an advantage. I actually like hunting with iron sights. Anyhow, there it is, British Express rifle. And you can buy these. I think they probably are on the Westley Richards website. Holland and Holland is great. Rigby is great. And they all have a slightly different style. But when you handle one of these, you know that you have something entirely different. You can feel the difference between a factory stock and something that's been worked over. So that's about it for this video. And if you come across these, like with anything else, yeah, it's worth buying. Thanks for watching.